Hi, this is Richard, but like 6 hours after we recorded the podcast, and they don't know I'm recording this, for the intro, I guess I could say anything I want, really. Let's see. I hate. Welcome back to the Debate Boys, episode 9. The podcast where Caleb and Scott don't actually know what I edit in, so I could edit in porn for all they know, and they would never know until they uploaded it. And even then, I could put it.
I don't watch your bummy ass videos.
So I genuinely could put porn in the thing, and they would never know. I could put text. I could put Caleb is ugly, a stupid version, and loves getting pegged, and he would never know. He would never know.
Whoa!
He would never know. He would never know. He would
Hey,
never
you
know.
have to do a random episode just to punish him.
Anyway,
Bruh.
the topic of the day, in which I thought was kind of, I thought we were all on the same page here, but apparently not. Scott, last week after we recorded the episodes, so we couldn't talk about it last week, Scott posted on his story, "This is why you shouldn't support BLM," and posts these Instagram these slides on Instagram. There's 5 reasons why you shouldn't support BLM.
From a black, it says top 5 reasons not to support Black Lives Matter, and in italics underneath it says from a black man's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and this is, and I would like to say before we even get into debate about it, this is one person's perspective out of literally millions and millions of black people. And then keep going.
Anyway, so Scott posts this on his story. I swipe up on it. I send it to the group chat with all our friends. And I go, "Oh my god, Scott caught a case of a special ed."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because just kidding.
Okay.
Just kidding. That's offensive to special ed people. Just kidding. That's a joke. Anyway.
Yeah, but we should.
Anyway,
before
Scott
we get caught lacking by everyone in the comments, you're not giving Scott a chance to speak, right?
That's true.
The reason we say so, I read what I read the post, and it says they don't care about Black lives at all. It's and it says they don't care about Black lives only when a white cop shoots a black person, even though black people are killing each other, blah, blah, blah. That is possibly the worst argument. They have all, it's the whole movement isn't just about when white cops or whatever, a cop in general kills a black guy.
Wait, Scott, can I ask you a question? Hold on, Caleb, wait, hold on. Let me interrupt you. Scott, can I ask you a question real quick? Just your answer doesn't really affect anything right now. Do you think all lives matter? Do you believe in all lives matter right now?
Depends on the context. So that's not fair.
You know how when people say Black Lives Matter, some people respond with no, all lives matter, not just black lives. Scott, do you believe that?
What?
Oh my!
Scott. Because I talked to him the other day, and he was like, "I still believe that Black Lives Matter." He said he doesn't believe in the organization.
I know, but Scott,
which doesn't make much sense.
So Scott, do you know when Scott, listen very carefully.
Yeah.
When people say, you know how some people say "Oh, Black Lives Matter," and then other people go, "No, all lives matter." You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you believe in that?
What, that every life matters?
That all lives matter, and not, it shouldn't just be
to the rebuttal of
it shouldn't
using
be
that as a rebuttal of Black Lives Matter.
It shouldn't just be Black Lives Matter. It should be all lives matter. Do you believe in that?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that inherent statement if people feel like they're getting excluded from the fact that their lives do matter. Then it is a fine rebuttal. I believe in the idea that all lives do matter, but there have been some injustices to the black people by cops in this country, and so they have right to.
I'll just argue. I'll just say this real quick. I know there's about to be a bunch of conservatives in my comments. There's about to be a bunch of conservatives in my comment section. Just kidding.
Your comment section.
No, in our comment section that are saying this. All lives technically do matter, but not at the moment right now. It's about Black Lives Matter.
No,
right
no,
now.
no. You
Because
can't say all lives
for
matter. No, you
What?
can't. Richard, you can't say that, right?
what?
Because in the end of the day, when everyone goes to bed at the end of the day,
All lives
all lives matter. All
technically
lives
yes.
matter,
Yeah.
right? But when there is
You can't use it as a rebuttal. You
when
can't don't use it as a
you
rebuttal.
can't use it as a rebuttal as a protest against
Mhm.
someone else's protest. That's fucked up though.
Mhm.
Like people need to realize that you can't just sit there and say all lives matter. That's them avoiding the problem.
Mhm.
The problem is
Hey, but
that the police are trained, and it's part of systemic racism in America. They are trained to pretty much hunt down brown and black people, right? This doesn't necessarily go for just black people. It goes for Latinos, goes for anybody who's got uh a large amount of melanin in their skin, right? If you are brown in this country or you're black in this country, you are at a disadvantage, and that is just a fact, right?
well,
Because you don't see cops going around.
we'll agree disagree.
And you will you will see statistics, right, that say more cops kill more white people every year than black people, right? That's because white people make up half, or I think they make up
They make them
Except
like 80% of the
33,
population.
yeah,
80% of the population.
some large amount of the population, while black people make up 3% of the U.S. population, right? Yeah,
So the fact that
but
so it
yet
should
those white people that are getting killed, not a large amount of them aren't unarmed. You understand that, right? So you just gotta be check your sources and check your facts before you come at us sideways and it's just your opinion. So
and then okay. So
That
back to
goes for both sides.
back
You liberals are crazy. Some of you crazy liberals are
don't
crazy.
no. You can't just blame it on liberals, bro. Honestly,
I'm
facts.
saying that
that
goes for
is
both
no.
sides.
No.
I know, but
No, because you're
that's just
talking conservative, so I'm
But
talking
no, but
liberals.
I wasn't talking conservatives. I was
No,
not talking.
you're talking.
anyway.
I know.
You have to talk a liberal group. Make sure both check your sources, because I see some extreme liberalism. Doesn't make any.
Honestly, everybody check your sources, bro. That's the most important part of having a discussion. Because if you are just spewing your opinion and how you feel, right? And you are trying to persuade someone to believe you. You're gonna need facts behind that, honestly. Because like I saw, so for example, this we can just skew off this topic afterwards. But I saw a video. There's a video floating on Instagram that's like this cop sexually assaulted her and harassed her, right? And I watched the video, and it was a police officer arresting what seemed to be a protester, a Black Lives Matter protester, in Dallas, right? It's a Dallas police officer, and I'm watching the video, and they had it was a routine pat down because they'd handcuffed her. Routine pat down where you check the back pockets, right? He wasn't groping her or anything like that. And he goes up and he like women keep stuff in their bras a lot of the time, and so he pushes up against her bra. It wasn't whole hand. It was your pointer finger. He just uses pointer finger to press right there, see if there's anything in there. And he did it twice, one on each breast, and that was it. And they were screaming at him. He's like, "Dude, you assaulted her!" And I was watching the video. I was like, "This is a routine police pat down. Like you are overreacting at this point, right? Like he is literally doing his job." And people overreact too much.
Okay,
Nowadays,
anyway.
honestly.
Okay, I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
On to the actual topic that we were supposed to debate about. God
Yeah, my
damn.
bad.
Fuck.
Well,
Anyway.
let's get going.
Shut up. Anyway,
Oh,
Scott. So you posted this on your story saying this is why you shouldn't support Black Lives Matter. Bro, can you give your reasoning as to why you shouldn't support Black Lives Matter? You don't have to use the slides if you don't want to, but can you explain your reasoning as to why one shouldn't support Black Lives Matter? The movement in the organization, whatever. Can you give me your reasoning as to why someone shouldn't?
yeah.
Because they don't because they don't like to call out their extremists in the group. They let them go free and let them support them. That go burn down churches.
But that's not. But those people.
Hey, yeah, but okay, well, hold on.
Hold on, Richard,
No,
Richard, hold on.
All right, but they burn down church. They burn down church. Fuck. I cannot speak.
Rip.
Fucking this man's like,
I
like, what
was
the fuck?
going somewhere that you fucking
No. So I understand what Scott's saying,
and they're
but
vandalizing shit.
hold on. You need to understand. You need to understand that the Black Lives Matter movement doesn't condone those people.
I know. I'm not saying that's the majority of them. However, that's like the leaders of the organization. I have not heard. I would know because I follow every fucking news media person on Instagram. Washington Post, New York Times, Fox News, CNN. I follow them, so I would know if one of the BLM like top leaders would say, "Hey, the leftists, far left extremists, cut that shit out. We're not about that."
Scott,
I know there are
I'm gonna
individual
call you out. No,
people
hold on, Richard,
in the
I'm gonna call you
movement
out.
that
I'm gonna call
call
Scott.
them
I'm gonna
out.
call you
I
out
know,
here.
but
Scott, I'm gonna call you out here because I just asked you about checking your sources, or you had told me to check my sources the other day when I had sent you something,
you sent me
and
liberal
it
propaganda. I don't know how. Come on, man.
was not propaganda.
Now
Regardless,
this news is liberal propaganda. You're not.
What
Scott
news
said
is
to
wait?
me
What news is liberal propaganda?
Now
it was a
this.
video of it
Oh,
was just
oh
the
my
videos
god.
of what Trump had
Now
done.
this news is liberal propaganda.
You know, of how he responded to like Black Americans getting killed, Trump had said, "So are white Americans." Like he didn't even acknowledge that it existed. He was just like, "Yeah, white people get killed too." Right? And so I sent that to Scott. I was like, I can't believe you still support this man, blah, 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 right? And Scott goes, quote, I don't trust any media. They're
Yeah, I
all
don't trust
corporate.
any of them.
You
I
just
trust
said that you would take information from the media and prove us wrong.
Damn.
You just
No, I said that I haven't heard any information from any media source that
but
has
why would you trust them in the
that
first
got
place?
reported on BLM.
Why would you trust them
That's
in the
saying
first
that
place though,
they
if they
did
even
that.
put it out?
No, Caleb. No, that's not what I said.
But
I
I'm
said
calling you out here.
no one in the media has reported on any of the BLM leaders saying anything.
What do you mean leaders?
That's
Who's
literally
a
what I
BLM
said.
leader? What's
The
a
leaders of BLM. I
There's
mean,
not a defined leader, but there are women that
yeah,
have started
leader.
the movement.
I said
But
leaders.
they
okay?
don't have
Can I
any.
just say
When it was
people?
smaller,
None
they used to
report on
share
any.
their
Okay,
voice.
can I just say the extremists about the extremists? I feel like people who are extremists, I don't know, they aren't really like actually like with like the Black Lives Matter
They're not
movement.
with the
People
movement.
people who riot and loot don't actually care about the movement. They just want to like cause violence. People who are just protesting normally care about the movement because
I think we all know that.
exactly. So you
But
can't.
that's what you're arguing
Yeah,
against. Though. You understand that,
you're
right?
arguing that that because they're burning. There's a
So
lot of
they use
extremists.
their name.
There's
They
extremists.
use
There's
their
extremists
name and they
everywhere, bro. In
call
every
them out.
movement, there's
They use
extremists,
their
bro.
name.
Cops
They don't
have
call them.
extremists, bro.
I know
Yeah.
cops have extremists, and
No one calls them
cops
out.
have
The only
been
people
around.
the only people that call them out
BLM
are the people themselves. All right.
Richard,
So you no you
there
hold
was
on.
a BLM leader.
Your argument
Like
is
2
that
days
your
ago
argument,
was arrested for child pornography
bro.
charges.
Your
And I
argument
can't
your
believe
argument is that no
BLM
one is calling
out.
the leaders are not calling them out for being extremists, but no police gets called out until it's called or until they're called out by the people. The head of like the head of
The police chief
yeah,
they
they don't call out the
Yeah.
police's problem until someone else until the people bring it up. Why is the people's why is it the people's job to call the police out on doing something that's bad? You can't
for
use
the
that
most part-
argument because it's the same thing other way.
Hold on, Scott. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
Well, I'm just saying that most of these things are like a one-time action. People usually don't know that they're bad cops before they make this one racist action, and like people and like there's times where it's been on the city council. I'm not going to agree with you here. We're like the government doesn't really do enough.
Yeah.
But just to combat the police extremists, like that one dude who was on George Floyd's neck, right? He got 10. I think it was like 10 plus,
Should get life.
allegations against him, right? And the city didn't do anything, which is a failure on the government. But if you're gonna have a move for like Black Lives, right? And you're gonna have people doing all this shit, it doesn't make you look great.
It doesn't. That's
And,
why.
like, you
That's
should
why.
be
Hold on,
showing
Richard.
them-
Hold on.
Okay.
No, you can go. Let's go. Just go.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Well,
Anyway, if you're not gonna talk anyway. So, but like,
Yeah.
you need to understand, like, you keep like saying it's not a good look, but the leaders of like, we all know people who genuinely want to peacefully protest. No, none of them support it. But saying like, oh, guys, this isn't what
Hey.
Black Lives Matter movement is
Well,
about.
it's been pretty apparent. been happening.
I
and
know,
they
but
haven't done
if so, a lot, there's so many people that are like, no, the Black Lives Matter movement isn't about violence or doing all that. Like, it doesn't change anything. They're still gonna go out and do it because that's what they think in their mind is right, even though they know it's not supposed to happen.
I mean, so Scott, I've seen multiple videos. You haven't heard on the news because the news doesn't fucking like to report it or whatever. But the video, remember that video, that woman. So it's a white woman who claimed, quote unquote, claims, and so the guy that claimed, so they had burned down that Wendy's, right? So they had burned down a Wendy's in the middle of a protest.
Yeah, I know.
And then people were like, she was like, people started blaming the Black Lives Matter movement, even though there is a clear video of it's her by herself lighting that fire, and everyone's like, stop, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that,
Yeah.
right? So you can't say that the Black Lives Matter movement isn't calling these people out because they are,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so
Okay,
it's not the movement
okay.
itself, because I know for a fact, and it's just like, I know for a fact that you care about Black Lives Matter and people and Black people, right? You are just saying that you don't like the organization, that the leaders of the organization, who are literally trying to deal with millions of people right now, aren't calling out one person or three people. You
I'm
understand that, right?
talking about just the extremists in general, not just the extremists in general aren't just one or three people. It's quite a bit of people under the label of Antifa who
Yeah,
like
but
to
you
go out
can. Yeah, but you
and
can
do
look
But
at
that's
the.
Antifa now. That's not Black Lives Matter, bro. You understand that,
yeah,
right?
but
You're now
both
saying
of
it's
them,
Antifa
both
and
of
not
them
Black Lives Matter.
yeah, both of them intercorrelate. They're both
No,
But
they
they aren't the
don't.
same
there are
group,
people
dog.
in that
No,
They
they
who
aren't
are
the
don't.
also
same
part of
group.
Antifa, who are also part of BLM.
They aren't the same group.
Okay, but they have
No,
but they
no,
still
no, no. Okay, but no, it's
you
just
know,
that's it. They're
no.
not the same group whatsoever, at all.
Yeah, but there's both people who are members of that same group that BLM hasn't said anything about.
They're
Scott,
not about the. They're
Scott,
Okay,
what do you want them to say? What do you want them to say?
what do I want them to say?
that's what we're asking you.
It's as simple as telling them to cut the shit out. That's
That's not
all.
gonna work,
That's
dog.
not gonna work, bud.
Really,
It's
and if
about
that and
it's that's about as
if
effective
that's
as going to the
what do
police
you really
and
mean?
that's about
If
as
they
effective
told
as
them
going to the
that
police
this,
and going
if
asking
they
nicely, can
told
you
them
not
this shit
shoot me?
wasn't, if they told them that this violence isn't justified, like the leaders, they would stop, but they don't because they think they're on some
No,
moral fucking crusade.
no,
Scott,
no,
Yeah,
it's not gonna
they
work.
think
Scott,
they're on a moral
Scott,
fucking
you're not,
crusade.
hold on, Scott, chill. You're not understanding that
What
these
am I-
people don't identify with Black Lives Matter. They are blaming Black Lives Matter. Like for example, ISIS, right? Half the stuff, in my opinion, that ISIS does, or that, like, let's say, for example, like there's a bombing somewhere, right? And then ISIS comes out a day later saying, "Oh, that was us," even though, like, it makes no sense to be ISIS, but since they are a terrorist organization, people go, okay, right? Even though they had nothing to do with it, right? These people that are setting these fires and burning and rioting, whatever, right? They are not part of Black Lives Matter. They are just people who just do it because they like violence. Turn around and say, "Oh, this is the Black Lives Matter movement," right? Or I'm part of the Black Lives Matter movement. It's that simple. Because who's gonna tell them that they aren't part of the movement, right? Even though people are literally telling them, "Don't do that, don't do that. You're not representing what we stand for," right? So they're not part of the movement, and I'm not sure you're understanding that. And that's the irritating part for me. You're not understanding that they're not part of the movement.
Okay, okay. And part of me is I haven't heard anything besides some individual people, but I haven't heard like a massive like response of saying cut this shit out. They're still immediately labeling them as peaceful protesters when you can clearly see the shit they're doing is
Yeah,
not
but you
peaceful.
said yourself
No,
you're
They
not
get
gonna
all
no.
trust the media, dog.
okay. I know I don't trust it. That's what I know.
Scott, for example,
But I
at Trump
but
hold on,
I'm,
at
I'm,
Trump rallies, right? At Trump rallies,
I
there
know they're
are there are plenty of good Trump supporters, dude. Honestly, you can support
okay.
Trump just
Yeah,
because you
no,
want more a job. Hold on. Just
yeah.
you can support Trump just because you want more jobs in the economy, or more jobs in the country, right? And that's the only reason you get. And you can support Trump because of that, right? But you see these videos of Trump supporters yelling at Mexican people in the crowd, telling them to build our wall for us and go back to your own country, right? Does that represent all Trump supporters?
I mean, not everyone agrees with that premise, so.
So
It would-
exactly. So that's exactly what I
Okay,
mean, though.
Okay, but
And Trump doesn't speak out about it. So it's the
Exactly. So
equivalent. It's the
Trump doesn't
equivalent.
say anything
It's
about
the
it.
equivalent, Scott. You just
It's
gotta
the
look at.
exact
You
equivalent.
gotta look at both sides of it. Like your argument is, you have argued before that you have to look at both sides of this, both sides. You're not looking at both sides. You're turning your head on the side that you support.
Do you
So the
understand
side.
it?
Do you understand, Scott?
All right, so.
So we won basically. All right, guys, that's a good.
No,
That,
no, it's not about winning.
Yeah.
Chill. It's not about winning.
It's not about.
It's about getting your point across and trying to get the other person to understand.
do you understand, Scott?
Okay, yes, I completely understand your point, but I think the difference is, though, is that Trump's movement is based on, like, build the wall and stopping immigration, where the Black Lives Matter movement is based on peaceful. It's based on peaceful.
Based on stopping racism.
Yeah, based on peaceful protest of more equality. They're not based
So,
inherent on those violent people.
so you're saying that Trump's
Trump
campaign
doesn't
is
need
more
to go.
violent
Doesn't really need to
than
go and call and say stop, supporting the wall. Because why we do that? Because that's just alienating his base. While Black Lives Matter should be telling the extremists to stop because the extremists aren't, inherently part of their base. They don't want.
So you're saying Trump is allowing people to be racist because if he told
How
them to
it-
stop, he would lose his base.
Well, saying you want to curb immigration and build the wall isn't really racist.
But he'd be calling out the people who are like, get out of our country, build our wall, you're taking our jobs, this and that, and screaming at innocent Mexican Trump supporters, right? You understand that, right? So if he wasn't calling these people, since he's not calling these people out, the reason he doesn't want to call these people out is because they are part of his base, and the people who are going to vote for him.
They're the gung ho people that want to see the wall built, which is a big deal. I don't know.
No, it's not.
They haven't given us updates on that shit yet, man.
Because it's not happening.
He's
It
laughing.
wouldn't be reasonable because a majority of illegal immigrants don't even. Majority of immigrants who ended up becoming illegal come through plane, not through crossing the border. They just overstay their visas and green cards, and so then they stay here, and now they're illegal because of that. That's facts. Look it up. And so to pay like $1 billion for a wall that isn't even gonna affect the majority of illegal
It's
immigration
a waste of
wouldn't be
money.
worth it.
It's a waste of money.
Exactly. Anyway, I think that's all the time we have today. Make sure you guys go hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe. Go check out our Instagrams in the bio. We have our artist friend who made this. We have our group Instagram. We have, I think that's it. Yeah, we have a few hashtags there. Hashtag woo, rip the
Tell
woo.
us in the comments if you have any debate, like new debate ideas or anything you want to see us debate about. We will look into it and we will see if we all agree on it or if one person disagrees on it. Right? Send us your recommendations either via our group Instagram or in the comments below.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Adios.